welcome to the Blackheart Orchestra. I just wanted to touch base with these guys. They definitely were my favorite prog band of the year, progressive rock band, even though they don't like to be labeled strictly prog. They're much, much more than prog, but they do some proggy songs which are really great. And they had one hell of a year. And I just wanted to touch base with them and say thank you for all you did. It was a lot of work, and I really, I was going to ask, has the Prague magazine come out with their poll? I keep trying to look for it. I can't find it.
No, not yet.
I
I
think
think it's out in the next
Friday,
issue,
yeah. Friday it comes out.
which is
Oh,
the
Friday?
Yeah.
30th. Yes.
Tomorrow. Oh, okay. Because
Oh, yeah.
I really hope to God they recognize what you've put together. Um, I listened to a lot of music. There's no way I would ever say I've listened to everything. You couldn't, even if you sat all day
No.
long
Yeah.
and tried to listen to every album that came out. You'd be lying to say you did. But of what I did hear, yours was just over and above what I heard anyway. What were some of your favorite albums?
Well, I mean, first, before we do that,
Yeah,
thank
definitely.
you so much.
Yeah,
We,
absolutely.
for you said for all we do, but thank you for all you've done to support us.
Absolutely.
And it's been, when I saw us pop up the other day, I mean, I'm kind of like a melancholy Christmas person. I'm not like full of cheer, but you made me full of cheer, and it was just really really nice to
It was.
actually.
It was the best Christmas present we had. Being on your list, even if we were number 100, it would have been great,
Yeah,
but to be where we were was just
yeah.
pretty unbelievable, really. So
Well, yeah, and
it's
I'm
it's been
no
a
I'm no
great year for us, and it's been a great year for you and us. It's been a great
yeah,
relationship.
and I'm no huge, the Prague magazine or anything like that. I don't even try to be. But I do listen to a lot and do review a lot. But yeah, you guys just really um, you you hit a lot of wonderful, deep lyrics and thoughts that all of us are thinking from time to time. And that's why I hope that it connects with more than just me, obviously, but I mean, a lot of people. And I did everything I could to try to get your music out there because it's worth it and people should hear it. And
I really appreciate that.
yeah,
I think we've been pleased that the music has got to people on two different levels, really. Like it's bound to, isn't it? Like exactly as you say. On one level, it's music, and people love music. On another level, if you want to go down to the basement inside the music, it's about something deeper than that for sure. And it was something that was built on our beliefs and our feelings about
And our fears.
life and death and the situation that the world's in and what may be coming towards us in the next few weeks, months, years. Who knows? It's a very uncertain time, and I think it makes you think uncertain thoughts and worrying thoughts, and we were trying to put all those kind of fears and beliefs into a record, really. And
It's just like a reflection of what's going on
yeah,
inside, isn't
yeah,
it?
it
It's
is.
just
It
like
is.
reflecting it to the outside world and saying, this is what I struggle with on a daily basis.
Yeah,
Come and join
yeah,
us. Dark, dingy basement, isn't
of our minds. Yeah,
it?
yeah,
no, but
But
a lot of people do.
yeah, yeah.
Really,
And a lot of people try to hide it as well and try to live behind a very happy piece of wallpaper that they cover their lives up with. But I think there's a lot of us inside of us at the moment for so many different reasons. We're searching for something. We're not quite sure what we're searching for. We're not quite sure when we're going to find it, and we're not quite sure what life's going to feel like very very soon. So life could change very quickly for a lot of this world at the moment.
but isn't that always the case?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Things can
right.
change in an instant.
Yeah, you're
People's
right.
lives, even on the tiniest scale, it's always, who was it who said, the only constant is change, and it's so true,
Yeah,
isn't it? That
Well,
You know, we never know what's coming next. And I guess, you know, that's what makes life such a ride, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I thought we
No
put
room
this
for
COVID thing behind
complacency.
us.
Yeah.
I thought we put this COVID thing behind us. And then this morning, they're talking about China and how, people are coming over here, and not just Chinese, but all people. And they're spreading it again. And it's like, here we go again. It's like, please. And not blaming any race or any country or anything, but
Sure.
the transfer on airplanes and going, traveling around the world, it's like I thought this was all behind us, and I'm not
Yeah.
the and it's like,
Yeah.
please don't
You know,
make us go through all this again.
Yeah.
hopefully, you know, well, I had COVID a few weeks ago. I hadn't been out. I went out once and I caught it, and luckily it was just like a bad cold for me, so I was really lucky. But it just goes to show how rife it is, because I'd been
Yeah.
hardly anywhere with my injury, and then I went out, and then
Yeah.
the first night I went out, it was like
Yeah.
I tested positive for COVID. It was like, no, it's not gone.
No. And there was the news lady that was talking about it, a reporter. She actually said she was on an airplane. She had a mask on, and everyone's looking at her like an idiot. What are you doing? It's over.
Mhm.
No, it's not over. And she was protecting herself. But yeah, it's just, we'd all love it to be gone. And anyway,
Yeah,
but
I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah.
let's not spend too much time on that. That was kind of an example where, here you thought it was gone and it's back. But
Yeah, absolutely. But you asked us about our favorite
please,
album of the year, didn't
Yeah.
you? And again, like you know, I feel like what was this year? You know, what I've probably not had a chance to listen to as much as I would like to
True.
listen to, because we were very single-minded this year. You know, we were very much focused on the final stages and the release of the album and touring again. But that said, I think there's been some really great releases. I mean, do you want to go first?
Well,
I feel like
I
I'm
just picked out
fluttering.
two albums that knocked me out, and one of them was on your list as well. And it's not just an album that knocked me out; it's a person who absolutely, totally knocked me out as a guitar player this year. We did a gig in Peterborough, in the UK, with a band called the John Hackett Band. John Hackett
Nice.
is, Steve's brother, and the guitar player in that band, Nick Fletcher. We've become really great friends with Nick, haven't we? After that gig, but whoa, what a player that guy is! He just absolutely blew my brains out listening to him play guitar of all kinds. Um, he's just the most outstanding guitar player I've ever witnessed, and I've seen quite a few pretty good players. I can't even think the way he plays with his fingers. I can't use my brains to think that fluently and superbly. His album, The Cloud of Unknowing, is just an outstanding album. It took me right back to when I was probably about 16 years old. When I was starting to play guitar, 14, 15, 16, I was into a lot of very different things. All the people around me at school were into Zeppelin and were into Deep Purple and Sabbath and all these great classic bands. I was into them as well, of course, but I was also playing Joe Pass, Oscar Peterson. Oh, that led me into Mahavishnu Orchestra, John McLaughlin, of course. And in a way, Nick brought back all those kind of, I don't know, almost classical jazzy notions of those years. And in fact, when I heard the album, I sent him a message saying, "You've just relit my inner mounting flame of those great albums from Mahavishnu that I used to love so much." So Nick's album has definitely been one of my milestone albums of this year. And I mean, he's just outrageous, not just as an electric player, but when he gets on his classical mode as well. I don't know whether you heard his classical stuff as well. It's just sublime.
a little bit, yeah. And he mentioned to me that he's coming out with another next year. So
Right.
it
That's
probably
great.
did the same thing for him. He probably, the response and the way that people have enjoyed it and picked it up, I think it may have said to him, "Hey, I need to get back in here
Yeah.
and put out another one."
So that was one album that I'll that's going
Before
to
you,
stay in my car for a long time.
before you leave that, do you want to just mention, because I've seen it on both his and your Facebook, you guys are going to be touring with him again, I think, next year.
Yeah, I think we've got 2 dates
Yeah.
where we're co-headlining, one in Southampton and I think one in Merseyside.
Yes, that's right. Near
Yeah.
Liverpool. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so they're lovely. I mean, only met them. Well, we met them a couple of times. We met them at a festival that
Yeah,
we
that's
did
right.
together, and then we played the gig together. And it's like, do you know when you just connect with people, and it's like, our old friends, and
Yeah.
it just feels like that, which is lovely
Yeah.
because being on the road can be a lonely place, can't it?
Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can.
Sorry
So
about that. Go ahead, Rick, with what you were going to do.
Oh,
I just didn't want to leave that by.
I've got another album that I only got the other day because it was a Christmas present.
me,
I must admit, I'm pretty lazy at going out seeking music and searching for new music. I kind of wait for it to come to me, and like Nick's album did. But this next album you bought me as a Christmas present.
yeah,
I got three albums this year for Christmas
I thought I needed to
from this
educate
girl.
him.
Yeah, and this one. Well, I don't know what to say about it. It's by a band called Black Midi.
Okay.
Have they
I
hit the
don't think
States?
I've heard of it,
I know they've toured over there.
but
Yeah,
tell me more. I want to know.
Well, I just think that once every decade, if you get lucky, if it's a lucky decade, you get a kind of WTF kind of feeling, like,
Yeah.
what the is this? And that was it when I first heard Black Midi. What a crazy, incredible, superb. Just I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say about the band. They're just absolutely mind blowing. It's like, I mean, the old adage is that you've got to have a great drummer to have a great band. No band is a great band unless it's got a great drummer. Completely agree with that. But this band is like they've got four drummers. It's just that only one of them actually plays the drums. They're all playing with the same intensity of a crazy drummer. It's just like
it is
intense.
It really is.
And the music, I don't know what it is. It's like some kind of, it's like society screaming at itself somehow. It's like the West screaming at the East, and America screaming at Russia, and a daughter screaming at a mother, and a son screaming at his father,
But in a really
and
skilled way.
left screaming at white. Everyone's screaming at each other, and I think it represents some kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm going too deep into it, and maybe if the band hear this, they'll laugh their heads off. But somehow it just represents the kind of chaos, but kind of the beauty and the chaos in people's minds at the moment. It sounds like the world in chaos, but
I'm
in
gonna
a
have to check
really
it out.
fantastic, super energized way. I've never heard so much energy in a band
But I
since
think,
the Who.
but they don't sound like the
But
Who.
they don't sound like a fraction like the Who.
It's like a
Where
real
did you
melting
hear about it,
pot.
Chrissy?
I actually heard about them via you. You'd
Yeah,
been talking about
I,
them on YouTube, but you hadn't bought anything because he's really
I'm
lazy.
very lazy at buying things. I must say, I was watching them live on YouTube, and they were playing some gigs in the States, so they must have been playing some reasonably nice theaters in the States. They're doing okay. Um, and just the way they walk on stage, and then just suddenly they don't walk on like a big super band. They were walking on like really kind of cool and almost like slightly amateurishly, and then suddenly they just lit the touch paper and went boom, and the whole place, like the roof lifted off this place. I thought it was very, very cool indeed.
So you're a fan?
I'm a massive fan. I can't wait to go and see them.
He's
I've got
in.
to go and see them like 100 times this next year.
But
It's
it
like
is one of those where you do have
such a
to have a rest after a couple of songs because it's like too much information for me to take in.
It is. You need to lie down after every third
Yeah.
track. You've got to have a lie down and a couple of paracetamols to get yourself back together again. I mean, I don't know how they end the show, but I imagine they end the show by kind of murdering the whole audience one by one. Of course, the audience are totally willing, and you know, they all want to go with the band, you know.
Yeah.
And then they murder each other one by one, leaving only the drummer on stage, the only live person on stage. He does then a 2-hour drum solo and then eats his drum kit before falling over and passing away. I just don't know how to actually climax a show like theirs.
I bought him drugs for Christmas as well. But
It sounds like
but just in a nutshell, I like them very, very much.
likes it. There's no doubt about it.
So the absolute opposite of that is one of my favorite albums, and it's an album that was actually released in 2021 and then re-released as a piano reworking, and it's called Some Kind of Peace by Oliver Arnold, and it's the absolute opposite of that.
It is. And isn't it great that music is so massively different?
Absolutely, and you can appreciate both.
Yeah.
But you know, I feel wrong saying this is my favorite one of my favorite albums for 2 years in a row, but it is, because it's one of those that, like, when we were in lockdown, I did buy it on vinyl, the first version, and then I really want to buy the second version. I've never played a piece of vinyl more, because it's like, I find it really grounding, and I've not got sick of it. It's just, every time I hear it, it's like, oh, okay, I can take a deep breath. And the title is so fitting, obviously, called Some Kind of Peace. And he's actually just released like a really short film, like 26 minutes long, of 3 tracks. And it's just like a beautiful piece of film with, I think it's like the Icelandic dance company, I think, who are part of it. And it's just a really beautiful, it's like, do you know when everything's going so fast and it's like that, just you can exhale. And it's just, well, it's just really beautiful. If you haven't heard him, I would definitely say check him out.
Oh, I'm gonna check out both of these, definitely.
Yeah, his first, then Oliver Arnold.
Yeah, you'll need Oliver Arnold after Black Midi. You'll really need
tour together. It's like
and
you know, this yin and yang kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, I just really wanted to quickly.
I really love what's.
Go ahead.
Go on, sorry.
Sorry.
No, go.
No, I was just going to say one other person that I forgot to mention. My wife loves your album as well. In fact, when she first heard it and she watched the interview, she was like, "Why didn't you tell me about these guys?" I'm like, "Well, I told you I'm doing an interview with them, and you know, I got the album, the review, and I played it, but I don't force anything on anyone." But she kind of heard some. She goes, "Let me hear some more of their music," and we went to YouTube and we listened to some of the older stuff at that time. It was before your new stuff had come out, I guess. And she was like, "Oh my God, this is fantastic." And anyway, the reason I mentioned that is that I wanted her to be here. I took the rest of the year off, so I go back, 2nd of January, but she couldn't get the same time off, and unfortunately, she's not here. But she wants to say hi to you guys and thank you too. But but yeah, it didn't.
We will have a.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a catch up in the new year.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Just have an informal
let's
Zoom in the new year. But that's lovely. Tell her thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. No, she absolutely loves the album. Speaking, well, go ahead. Do you have some others you wanted to talk about first of all? Other albums?
Oh, I do. I could probably carry on all day. So another classical minimalist is Ludovico Einaudi. He's like my favorite, and he has an album out called Underwater, and again, it's that kind of I think I look for things to soothe my soul
Yeah.
quite often, and that is definitely one. Catherine Joseph, I don't know if you've heard of her. She's a really beautiful singer-songwriter from Scotland. For You Who Are the Wronged, she has a very special voice and a very special sound.
She does have a very unique character about her as a person and as a musician
She's
and
a
singer.
lovely
She's
person,
fantastic. I love it too.
and really funny and really,
Yeah.
great. There's another one as well, and I'm going to. Sorry, do I have to?
No, carry on.
I only have a couple more.
Fascinated.
So there's another one who I can never pronounce her name, so please look her up. So I'm going to try and pronounce it. I think it's I am I, who am I? And she's from Sweden, and she's another great kind of, I guess she would border on the edges of prog, probably like we would.
I think so too.
We probably have a few more pop elements than her, but she's very, I think you would enjoy her very much. And she's kind of like ethereal and beautiful voice, beautiful melody.
Is she the girl that we found about 5 years ago, and she had this incredible video
Yes.
on YouTube? That's
was it her? I don't
do you
know.
remember that video?
Yeah,
that
I do
spotted?
remember
It
it,
was
but
just the most beautiful video.
I don't know if it was her.
I think it was her.
I think it might have been. But
Anyway.
she's a great artist. I think she's a visual artist as well, so that would make sense. And then a couple of people from like who really inspired me when we were starting out, and it like Katie Tunstall and Narina Palo, they've both got new albums out. Don't laugh,
No,
they're great songwriters.
No, Katie's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. And then a really fun band who is the opposite of everything that I've just said, called Wet Leg. Don't know if you've heard of them.
No.
They're kind of like really fun, kind of punk pop.
I don't know them.
They had a song called Chaise Longue, and it's
really, yes, I have. Yeah,
so kind of
that's
like
great.
sticky in your head, funny. It's like, it's a breadth of music, isn't it? That there's some that are creating this kind of really sticky, punky pop. Sticky as in hooky.
Yeah.
Not as in. And then these really beautiful atmospheric artists as well. It's great. Music is great, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, just in the half a dozen albums we just described, how much lateral width is there in the creativity in those albums, and we all love it all. So how beautiful is
Absolutely.
Music's okay, isn't it?
It's great, and we also got to see one of my very favorite bands this year as well.
Oh yeah,
Sigur Rós. They haven't got an album. Sigur Rós.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, please check them out. I just started crying as soon as they started playing.
They're from Iceland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fantastic show, and it was an experience more than a show, wasn't it? Not just a musical concert. It was a kind of an emotional experience that they put together. It was very, very good.
Do me a favor when we're all done. Just no hurry. Go ahead and send me just the names of these, or
sure,
links or something like that, or
links
to their website. I'll put them. I think we're going to go ahead and post this on Progressive Rock Central, and I'll just put as many YouTubes as I can find of these guys that you're talking about. And
that's great.
Yeah,
that'll be cool.
Give people a chance to find something new. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, because aren't we always searching for our, I'm always searching for music that kind of, I'm like, oh, how did I miss this? I love that feeling of feeling excited about a band.
Yeah, I'm weird. I don't like the way I'm at all. I kind of search in my past for things that inspired me when I was getting into music somehow. Not to mean that I only listen to music of the past. I don't, but
I have to drag you into the future.
You have to drag me into the present, let alone get me to the future. But
there's so much in the past, so much good stuff from the past.
Yeah,
absolutely. There's still discoveries to be made there, isn't there?
Oh yeah,
for all of us, totally.
Well, that happened to me just with Mission Jupiter. I didn't even know who these people were, and oh my God, one of the best bands, one of my favorite bands now. And I missed, they came out, well, they've had one back in, I think, 2018. Totally missed that one. But I missed the latest, Talk to Me, and found that late in, or no, early this year, but it came out late last year. And now I'm in conversation with them. They're making some band changes and things, but they're coming out with something in 23, and I just can't wait. It's like,
Mhm.
but yeah, some of these bands just kind of slip through your. I do everything I possibly can to try to search the internet and try to find, what's out there. And
Yeah.
now I'm working with some PR firms to really help bring stuff to me, so that there's stuff that I'm missing that obviously is out there. but yeah, that was one of those bands that just, well, like you guys, before I met you, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't know who you were. I had no idea. And then boom, now you're staples. I mean, I want to hear everything you're doing. But yeah, and not just you, but other people want that same feeling, and want to find, like Rick was saying, bands that they're interested in, and this is one way to do it. So yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
If you get a chance, send me those.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
sure. Do
Oh, we
that.
will. It's nice to be able to
Keep going
support.
though. Keep going if you had more. I keep interrupting, but I'm sorry.
Oh no, I think, well, another that I've kind of discovered this year was like Zola Jesus and the Weather Station, two separate artists. The Weather Station's kind of a Canadian band, kind of quite folky, quite a little bit Joni Mitchell-y, really, really nice, really chill.
Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that.
Oh no,
Yeah,
absolutely,
she's
really, really,
wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So I really enjoyed them. I'm trying to, there'll be absolutely loads that I haven't thought of because I do listen to a lot of music, even though this year has been a quietish year for me because we have been busy. But even the band The Unthanks, they're
Yeah.
usually too folky for me. Nothing wrong with folk music, but they, when we first saw them, they were very, very traditional. But their latest single is really, really beautiful and quite progressive in that, the broad sense of the word.
Yeah. We used to open for the Unthanks in the very, very early days, didn't we?
Yeah, we
Long,
did.
long
We
time
did
ago.
gigs
Yeah.
with them, but their new album is really nice as well. There's so many
It's
actually.
good to see bands change, isn't it? Because I mean, they've
Yeah.
changed so much.
Oh,
Well, I hope they would agree with it. They may not agree. They may think they've continued and they're consistent. But to me, from the outside looking in, they've changed massively from when we used to play with them, like 12 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that, from the to
so
where they're up to now. It's been a really beautiful and quite exciting kind of climb up the mountainside to me. And I love where they are now, much more than I did probably when,
absolutely,
10 years ago. I think they've really developed something really good, unique for themselves.
absolutely. So yeah, from Black Midi to the Unthanks, it's a
Yeah,
journey.
yeah. It's a big world, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is. And well, since you mentioned that, one of them that found way at the end of this year. Well, actually, I did a review of two of their albums from the past. Have you heard of From UZ from Uzbekistan? They used to be just instrumental progressive rock. Now they've added vocals, and their new album is just out of this world. And I'm trying, and they're 11 hours away from me. I'm trying to set up an interview and things like that. And I did do a review. So if you get a chance, check it out. If you like, instrumental based progressive
Mhm.
rock. Um,
What
give
was the
What's the
band
name?
called again? You
uh,
broke up.
From UZ, FROMUZ, Uzbekistan. I mean, it's don't,
Right.
that's where they're from.
Yeah.
And these poor guys are doing a fantastic job. But Uzbekistan, I mean, most people don't even know where it is, let alone,
Mhm.
how people could be writing music from there or whatever, but it is unbelievable, and they don't get the recognition they deserve, and it's climbing a real high hill to try to, like I say, to communicate with people here in the Western world, or so to speak, the the old Steely Dan thing, Western world. But yeah, for them to try to cross those mountains and get it into the uh, consciousness of other people here, it's really tough. It's an uphill climb, and that's why anything we can do, like you're doing, mentioning these bands, really helps. So thank you. Any others you guys want to talk
Yeah.
about?
I don't know. I think I could go on about music all day, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to. But yeah, just thank you again, for helping support Hotel Utopia. It's been a
Absolutely.
crazy year. It's been a crazy year, from releasing it on our own label to having it do so well on
Yeah.
our own label. We're still kind of like, what?
Yeah, we were quite scared of releasing it on our own label. We'd been in the comfortable arms of Cherry Red Records before that, who were a great, terrific label, and we were kind of a little bit kind of
Scared.
what's
Thinking, are we doing the right thing?
do,
Are we doing
do
it right?
we know what we're doing? Are we do we know what to
Yeah,
do?
you
And
did.
it's reassuring that it did. The birth was okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
we've been really pleased with, you know, all the publications that have supported it,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
it has been a crazy year.
Well, I think one of the most exciting things is how much your country has opened up to us this year,
Yeah.
because
Good.
it's been a door that we really haven't even knocked on before, and I think it's feeling really
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah, a lot of
With yourself and all the other guys in the prog world out in the States that have kind of acknowledged the album. So it's really on our menu for the next, maybe I don't know what it's going to be this year or the following next year or the following year. We must get over there and do something, and just
yeah, that is definitely a
it's a
vision, isn't it?
lifelong ambition to play in the States.
Definitely. So yeah, we hope to be able to make that happen.
I really hope so. Yeah, I would love to meet you in person and love to see you guys play live. I mean, that would be unbelievable. I've seen the YouTubes, but also I think you did a couple Facebook, and that's almost live, but I mean, it is live, but it's not like seeing you face to
In the
face.
same
Yeah.
room.
Yeah. But yeah, you do. And from what Nick, when I talked to him, he bragged about you guys and how wonderful you were and nice
Oh,
people.
did he?
I already knew that, but I mean, he said the same thing, but he said just fantastic musician. So the
Well,
feeling,
that's not coming
yeah.
from him.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
glad you're getting together with the with that band, with the John Hackett band. I'm hoping to finally interview them. I did some email interviews with Steve years and years ago. I've never talked to him face to face, other than I've met him a couple times when they did tours here. I don't know if you remember GTR, the thing that he did with Steve Howe. That
Yeah.
was one of the greatest experiences of my concert life. I waited. I always wait after the concert. Everyone else says, "Forget it. There's no way you're ever going to meet these people." But I'll tell you another story someday. I met Fish from Marillion by waiting, and having some patience. But anyway, this one was really good. A bunch of us did stay outside waiting for GTR to come out, and they actually did. Steve Howe and Steve Hackett. I'm like, these are two of my favorite guitarists standing in front of me. And actually, I think it was Steve Howe, and he goes, "Now, I'm going to surprise you guys. Do any of you have questions?" And we were all like, "Are you kidding me?" How much time do you have? No. we just were lambasted. We couldn't believe it. I did talk to him then, but I think I don't even remember what I asked him. And I asked Steve House on about yes as well. But um, that that's the only real contact I've ever had with him. But he's both of them are very nice guys, very easy to. You would never imagine that people at that level would even want to come out and talk. I mean, these guys are completely different from that. They're like, yeah, we want to hear what you think. We care about how you enjoy our music, how you interpret it, how you enjoy it, and that's special. And I know you guys do, but I know there's other people that do you like it? Okay, if you don't, forget it. I'll make something new and find somebody new. But no, they really care, and that's wonderful.
Well, they must do because they're still doing it. They don't have
Yeah,
to be still doing it, do they? They must care in order to keep touring and keep,
Absolutely, yeah,
Steve Hackett works the hardest of anybody, doesn't he?
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
He's the only one really keeping Genesis afloat.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
when, you talked about when you were young. When I was 10 or 12, I can't remember the exact year, but that was the first band that I ever heard. And other than Zeppelin, obviously everyone heard Zeppelin, and those are my two favorites. But yeah, just to finally meet them face to face is quite a thing. But yeah, we just hope that you know people like you and newer artists keep going, because it is tough out there for you guys. I don't know how you do it. You're doing all your PR
Well,
talk, because I talked to Vision of Atlantis and the touring. If you ever get a chance, just watch that interview I had with them, and the touring sounds like a nightmare. But not like I envisioned of it. When you remember Joe Walsh and Led Zeppelin and all these bands and having so much fun, and going to these hotels every night